Welcome to Understanding Electrical Safety. In today's edition, we're going to talk about our course Spotlight, Electrical Safe Work Practices for the Decision Maker. What this course is designed to do is to help anyone that's involved with implementing an electrical safety program, creating it, auditing it, facilitating and enforcement of an electrical safety program. So owners, managers, supervisors, safety directors, anyone that has to facilitate or be involved with the creation and documentation in the electrical safety program. An electrical safety program is more than just wearing arc flash clothing and putting on labels on pieces of equipment. So we're going to talk about all of the key components of the electrical safety program. To start with, we're going to really discuss the major core, what we call the core of an electrical safety program, and there's several components that make up this core. It's basically the foundation of all the different aspects that we're going to get into. The first is just the decision-making process of doing the work energized or de-energized. And it's basically asking the question, are you justified? And we'll define from the standards what it means to be justified, and understanding that it's more than just filling out a piece of paper that allows somebody to work energized. It's that burden of proof as you, the employer, to prove that what you're doing is the safest way to do it, and that there was not a safer way to actually do the task. So that is really where we're going to start with and define those things. Then we're going to move on to doing a hazard assessment, needing to identify what the extent and magnitude of the hazard is from electrical safety, and the different aspects of what those are, from shock, flash, arc blast, and any other possible hazard associated with electrical energy. We're going to look at the two different methods, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each method. And the key aspect, as well as the rest of this course, is not going to be so technical, but it's going to help you understand what it is, if you're going to do this in-house, what you should be looking for as far as the scope, and as well as if you're going to outsource this, how to look at the proposal, what language should be in the proposal, what should be in your contract documents, and more importantly, what should your final product and deliverables have in them. So we're going to talk about all those and some key things to look for if you're getting involved with that. Then we're going to get into, once you've determined your hazard, how do you pick the appropriate personal protective equipment based on the results of your hazard and based on what the task and what the exposure is to your employees, and trying to put that into a framework that allows you to identify your different groups of people. Will give you a tool that, no matter what your business is, will make it easy for you to define what individual falls into what type of group classification, or more appropriately qualification, that you will define for them. And that's going to help you to determine all of your PPE needs for each of those individuals. Once we also discuss that, then we're going to talk about the major documentation of your electrical safety program. That's your safety policy and your procedures. And very important aspect is the difference between a policy and a procedure. We're going to talk about electrical safety policy, lockout tagout policy, and detailed procedures, which simply at this point is, it defines and directs individuals of what it is that they are expected to do when they're exposed to electrical energy and how to isolate that energy. We'll also cover some basic components of training. And training is a key component, because anything that you have or do, your hazard assessment method, your information based from the hazard assessment, your personal protective equipment plan, your policy and procedures, you need to have documentation that they have been instructed and educated on how to use that information, as well as some type of proficiency assessment to determine that they actually understand the training that they've received. So we'll talk about those key aspects of every level of employee, from the most technically qualified electrical person down to the most unqualified person that you do not want to have involved with any electrical aspects, but they still need to have some awareness of what electrical concerns there are. Moving forward, we'll talk about the auditing process and the requirements of auditing your personnel, making sure that they, again, are implementing the policy and procedures and safe work practices that you have put into place and have trained them on, and also your facility, to make sure that any type of hazard assessment you've done maintains its accuracy and it is up to date, including one-line diagrams and such. And then also your program. And there are guidelines now in the newest electrical safety standards that require periodic auditing on those documents, just for the simple fact that you want them to be up to date with current standards. So that's a brief outline of this course. It's a 4-hour course. Again, it's not going to be very technical with respect to a typical electrical safety course or an engineering course for doing hazard assessments, but it's going to help that person that has to create, update, review, and implement those programs. And we're going to talk about how to get this done. Where do you start? When you're looking at all of these aspects that we're showing up here on the screen behind me, there's a lot of different things that we're going to be touching on in the context of that core. We're going to talk about all of these, but the key for the owner is we're going to look at that auditing and record keeping. How do you document this? Who has to document it? What type of form and what type of documentation are you going to use? Who's responsible for tabulating it and storing it? And probably the one that really is the most important for a person that's implementing this is budgeting. How am I going to do this? What is it going to cost? And what should I be focusing on first? So like I said, this course will give you some tools that you can take with you and give you the starting point to really make it easy for you to evaluate and be able to implement an electrical safety program. So that's an overview of this course. It's a 4-hour course. If you're looking for information as to where and when the next available course offering that we are offering from a public standpoint would be, you can go to www.starksafetyconsultants.com and look at our homepage. In the upper right hand corner, you'll see our listing calendar of events and classes. And if you have any other information you're looking for or would like to schedule a class at a time that's not shown on the calendar, you can reach us again at www.starksafetyconsultants.com. Thank you.